Good morning, Unitarian Universalist Church of Arlington. My name is Dr. Jesse Leong. Thank you. Oh, wow. My pronouns are he or they. You may use either for me. I am so delighted to be here as your new interim music director. And thank you so much to Rev CTC, to Reverend Amanda, and the search committee for bringing me. Thank you very, very much. I want to apologize that I was not here last Sunday, which was supposed to be my first Sunday. I was in the hospital, which is the first time that I've missed a church service in over 10 years. I am on the mend. I was having severe migraines and internal bleeding, so if you want to hear more about that medical stuff, you can talk to me after. But I am doing better and seeing lots of specialists now, so I'm happy to be here. The prelude this morning is called El Pueblo Unido. This is a Chilean folk song from the 1970s, and the translation in English is "The People United Will Never Be Defeated." The composer is Sergio Ortega, and the lyricist is a Chilean folk band called Quilapayún. And this is a protest song. So it was written in response to the election of Salvador Allende, who was a popular socialist candidate, and it became most famous as an opposition song to the military dictatorship of Augusto Pinochet, who's a dictator for almost 20 years in Chile. And it has become kind of a symbol of workers united, mass mobilization of people, resistance to oppressive authorities, and systemic injustice. And Rev CTC has asked me to warn you that this is quite a kind of harrowing song. So if you're accustomed to more introspective and reflective preludes, I promise I will deliver those in coming weeks, but this is not that. So please enjoy El Pueblo Unido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. De pie cantar que vamos a triunfar. Avanzan ya banderos de unidad. Y tú vendrás marchando junto a mí. Y así verás tu canto, tu bandera florecer. La luz de un rojo amanecer anuncia ya la vida que vendrá. De pie luchar, el pueblo va a triunfar. Será mejor la vida que vendrá a conquistar nuestra felicidad. En un clamor, mil voces de combate se alzarán, dirán canción de libertad. Con decisión la patria vencerá. Y ahora el pueblo que salta en la lucha con voz de gigante gritando adelante. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. La patria está furtando la unidad. De norte a sur se movilizará. Desde salar, ardiente mineral, al bosque austral, unidos en la lucha y trabajador irán, la patria cubrirán, su paso ya anuncia el porvenir. De pie cantar, el pueblo va a triunfar, millones ya imponen la verdad, de acero son, ardiente batallón, sus manos van llevando la justicia, la razón, mujer, con fuego, con valor, y estás aquí junto al trabajador, y ahora el pueblo que salta en la noche con voz de gigante gritando adelante. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
Thank you, Jesse. I've now heard that twice this morning. I feel like I could hear it 100 times, and it just gets more and more awesome. Love it. Good morning, everyone. Today is Sunday, April 2nd. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Arlington. My name is Ashley Grieve. I am a youth group advisor and also a member of the Board of Trustees. UUCA is an intentionally welcoming congregation to people of all backgrounds, races, genders, sexual orientations, and abilities and disabilities, both seen and unseen. We are a community that draws from a wide diversity of spiritual backgrounds and traditions, and it is exactly because of this that every one of you who showed up today, whether that means showing up in person or in spirit, participating virtually or watching later in the day or later in the week, every one of you is important, whether you've been here a million times or this is your first time, to helping us be our most inclusive, most authentic version of this community. So thank you for joining. And as church treasurer, I'd like to offer an extra special thank you to those who've already pledged to the annual campaign. As you heard throughout the month of March and saw in the Connections newsletters, the annual campaign is absolutely critical to meeting our congregation's vision. It's important to achieving fair and equitable compensation for our staff, to having a robust music program, youth programming, and so much more. So actually, if you have already contributed, already pledged to the annual campaign, I'd like to ask you to stand up now so that we can thank you. Yay. Thank you. Your generous pledge to the campaign is, as I was saying, just really important to being able to continue the programming that reflects our UU values and to grow the things that we want to do here. On one last note, if you were able to join in person today, we invite you to join us for coffee and conversation following the service today, which is just straight outside of the sanctuary and in the fellowship hall. Thank you.
Hello, all. Have we had our coffee? You know, I'm on cup 3 of English breakfast tea. So it is so good to see all of your faces. I'm so happy that you are here. You should stand up and greet each other. Say hello to your neighbors, your friends, the people you came with, and maybe say hello to someone new. Oh my goodness, we should take a picture. You guys, the surprise. All right, let's reel it in. I know you all love each other and you want to greet each other. Feel free to continue this after the service during coffee time. Community and fellowship are part of the foundations of this congregation's life. So it's so good to hear your voices saying hello to each other. Good to have you here.
Good morning. This morning, we light our candle of compassion, seeking an end to gun violence. and working to actionable change and laws that ensure sustainable peace. Let us hold space for the families and community in Nashville who are yet another statistic in the rising numbers of victims, especially children, at the hands of gun violence. In addition, Black trans women continue to be the most vulnerable among this gun violence crisis. In a moment of celebration, this past week was National Trans Visibility Day, where we celebrate transgender and non-binary people around the globe and the courage it takes to live openly and authentically. Let today be a day, and all days throughout the year, where we support, celebrate, love, and be co-conspirators with the trans and non-binary folks in our community and beyond. As we light our chalice, please refer to the words in your order of service. We gather together as a community of memory and hope to celebrate life and its infinite possibilities for love. We light this chalice as a symbol of the light within every human heart. May our individual sparks meet and merge, bringing both light and warmth to the world.
So I forgot the call to worship, which I should do to call us to worship. This morning's service is about social justice. You often hear me talk about different social justice issues. And while I have much to say on the topic of racism, women's rights, reproductive rights, what I wanted you to hear today was from other people. We have 3 members of the social justice ministry team with us today, and you'll hear their stories about what social justice means to them. And speaking of the social justice ministry team, we are looking for people to rotate on to the team for the next church year, as some of our members rotate off. Members of the team act as liaisons to the different social justice groups here at UUCA. I get to meet with them regularly as we try to sort of keep the calendar and plan things that are going to happen during the year in our social justice program. If you're interested, you want to have a larger role here at church, please get in touch with me or one of the members of the team, because we would love to have you with us next year. And now the call to worship. Reverend Donald D. Robinson wrote these words about social justice. Many people use the term social justice in self-serving ways. What they mean by social justice is just us. But social justice can only begin with the interaction between fortunate people and those who are more disadvantaged. It's incumbent upon those who, by the virtue of accident of birth or other circumstances, have good jobs, received a good education, and live good lives. It's incumbent upon them to offer assistance to those who face formidable obstacles, who don't receive a good education, who live on the margins of our world, and who don't have the same type of fulfilling life. Social justice insists that people are not their circumstances. What they are is their possibilities. Social justice demands that all people, regardless of their birth circumstances, are entitled to a fair chance at life, and that every person has the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The words of Reverend Donald E. Robinson, social justice.
Our first hymn in this service is 1010 in your teal hymnal. We give thanks. Please rise in body or spirit and join us in the singing. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share
precious day, for those gathered here and those far away, for the love we share, for love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for this precious day.
One of the fun parts of our service is that we get to give a wisdom lesson. Rev Amanda and I have a great time choosing the stories that we offer. Quite often, they are tied to our values or something specifically that's going on in church that week or to the theological theme of the month. Not so much today. Today we are having a wisdom lesson or a story that is in the vein of Dr. Seuss and is purely for fun. So listen out for the Dr. Seuss type of rhyme and humor. Would the small people or those who are young at heart come forward for our story? Yes? No? You can listen from right there, it's okay. Oh, wait. Well, there she is. Thank you so much. No, not yet. Well, maybe if you come with her, maybe. Okay. This story is called Bathe the Cat. Now, for those of you who have cats, I don't think you often try to bathe them. So keep that in mind, that there's a line of humor running through this tale. It's about a family on a busy morning because grandma is coming and they need to clean up. Dad said, "Come on, folks. It's time to clean. Upstairs, downstairs, in between. It's such a mess. If grandma sees, she comes at 2. Come on, team. Let's hurry, please." Bobby mopped the floor. Dad will scrub the dishes. I'll vacuum the rug. Sarah feed the fishes. Dad will mow the lawn and Sarah sweep the mat. Bobby rock that baby. I'll bathe the cat. Do you see the kitty's paw right there? I don't think that cat wants to get a bath. What's the problem? Nothing's done. You're wasting time. It's after 1. We need to clean now. Do you hear? Stop that laughing. Get in gear. Sarah, feed the floor. I'll sweep the dishes. Bobby, rock the rug. Dad will scrub those fishes. I'll vacuum the lawn. I'll bathe the mat. Sarah, you mop that baby. And Dad, go mow the cat. Mow the cat. The floor, the dishes, the rug, the cat. No, that's wrong. You call this work. Have you people all gone berserk? You scrubbed my fish? You fed the floor? Must I read this list once more? Let's start at the top, and here we go. Dad, you mow the floor. Bobby, rock the dishes. Sarah, bathe the rug. I'll go scrub those fishes. Sarah, scrub the lawn. Dad, you feed that mat. Bobby, sweep the baby. I'll vacuum the cat. Vacuum the kitty? What do you think? Probably not. Oh no, that cat does not want to be vacuumed. Nothing's going as I planned. Our list is totally out of hand. I've lost my marbles, you understand. Okay, now hear this. Dad will mow the vacuum. Baby, rock the mop. Sarah, mop little Bobby. I'll wash the floor. I'll clean the fish. Wait, stop. Bobby bathe the bathtub. Sarah, bob the mat. Dad will feed the lawnmower. And now he wants to catch the cat. Holy hornets, 10 till 2. I've had enough of all to do. It's almost time for Grandma Marge. So listen up. I'm taking charge. Bobby, mop the floor. Dad, scrub those dishes. I will vacuum the rug. Sarah, feed the fishes. Dad will mow the lawn. Bobby, you sweep that mat. Sarah, catch and kiss that baby. Me, I'll just rock the cat. Thank you all for listening. And would you all help me sing them out of service? The words are in your order of service for the children's blessing song. Thank you.
Peace to you on your way. May you grow in love each day, meeting new friends and opening your mind to the wonders of the world you will find. To the wonders of the world you will find.
Good morning. As part of the celebration of UUCA's 75th anniversary, I'm so pleased to be able to talk about how the UUCA community has enriched my life since I started coming here in 1998. During the nearly 25 years since I arrived, the church has afforded me so many opportunities to grow as a member of the congregational community and as a human. Covenant groups have brought many friends close to my heart. I've been in a long-standing dream study group, done a stint with pastoral care as a greeter, and my partner and I have enjoyed several circle dinner groups and much, much more. But this morning, I'd like to talk about my stint as a coffee server, a part of the hospitality function, and one that is managed by the inestimable Molly Jewell, who is always looking for volunteers. My buddy Charlene Buss and I have been on the second service coffee team for 15 years now. Mechanistically, it's not complicated. You make sure the coffee's made and the urns are set out. You lay out the coffee and tea supplies and the ice water. You keep an eye out to make sure nothing runs low, then you clean up. That's it. But, you know, coffee, it's pretty vital, right? And there are studies that say that when sensibly used, it can be beneficial to your health. But coffee hour really isn't strictly about coffee as much as it's about, along with the big H of hospitality, two other C's: connection and conversation. And if I had to pick my favorite time of the week, it would indeed be Sunday service and afterward. Coffee hour, for me, is like this little oasis where, cup in hand, I can catch up with friends in the church, find out what's going on in their lives, let them know what's going on in mine. And so important, it's time for all of us to make a point of welcoming visitors and new friends and members, and to hear their stories. Gathering with like-minded friends, long time and new, I've had so many wonderful conversations because coffee time is like this golden hour where you have implicit permission to talk about important things, very personal things. I mean, say you're in line at Giant and you turn to somebody and say, hey, tell me about your spiritual journey, or hey, tell me about the religious tradition you grew up with. You're likely to get an odd look. But at coffee hour, these personal subjects and life histories are more than acceptable. They're encouraged. But Jane McKeel advised me to remember to say how my particular part affected me personally, made me feel, and it makes me feel good. It's wonderful to be a single spoke in the great wheel that turns Sunday service. I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve coffee. Thank you.
Let's take a moment as we move deeper into service this morning to be here. Let's breathe in. Let that breath out. Breathe in again. Let that breath out. Let yourself be right here in this space with these people. I want to offer you, as we move into meditation, reflection, or prayer, whatever you like to call this time in our service, I want to offer you a prayer that was written by the Reverend Laura Horton Ludwig. It's called A Prayer for Rising to the Occasion. I chose this because we've had quite a week. There was another school shooting this week, and we've returned to that sort of 24 hours a day, 7 days a week news cycle when ex-President Trump is at the forefront of every story. It makes the week tough for a lot of folks. I hope that this prayer offers you a place to find some peace within yourself. Source of sources, that which moves around us, lives within us, and works through us. We know that none of us alone can hold all that must be held or do all that must be done. But each of us can be led toward the work that is ours to do. Come to these people and help them feel that there is a strength in being together, a strength that can be used for good, a strength to do the best they can. It is in this spirit that I name our concern for the land, for its people, for the people of the entire world. That concern goes out to refugees who are turned away from airports. We pray for their safe harbor. That concern goes out to immigrants who fear for their very safety and the safety of their children and families and loved ones. It is our prayer that they are well and they stay safe. Let all who are moved to action in these times, who protest, who speak out, who write letters, may their words be clear and strong. May their responses to the troubles in the world be compassionate. Let them be well. Let them feel the love of all that surrounds them. Spirit of love and light, may we lift up these people too, all those worried about how they will pay for the cost of medical care, all those worried about access to medical care, and the future of our planet as we move through the ongoing climate crisis. Hear, O Source. Let us take a moment to give thanks for the blessings that are emerging even now. We give thanks for women and girls who are leading us forward and showing us what peaceful empowerment can look like. We give thanks for journalists and scientists, for attorneys and public servants, for so many others who offer truth and wisdom in this most challenging time. We give thanks for each other, for ordinary people, including you and me, who rise to the occasion, who bring the best in themselves to the work of social justice, and who help us all be the best we can be. We give thanks. We offer compassion. May it be so. Amen. Ashe. Blessed be.
Please remain seated as we sing the next hymn, number 123. The words are in your order of service. We will sing it through twice, the first time in Spanish and the second in English.
Fuente de amor, ven hacia mí y al corazón, cántale tu compasión. Sopla, va, va, Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Ours is a congregation that gives. I look out this morning and see your faces, and I know that each one of you is dedicated to helping change the world. Here at UUCA, one of the ways we are changing the world is through a program called Share the Plate. April's Share the Plate will go to the Aliances Accompaniment Program. We are supporting the international accompaniment program of the Network in Solidarity with the People of Guatemala. It is also known as NISGUA or NISQUA. We also are helping to support the nearby Buckingham community, which we have been in relationship for a number of years, helping their children, inviting them here to serve us a lovely meal, which will happen on the 16th of April, and simply being engaged with them the way you're engaged with a neighbor. NISQUA accompanies organizations and individuals who are seeking justice and accountability for the condoned genocide and the crimes against humanity committed during Guatemala's internal armed conflict. The Mayan cosmovision emphasizes our connection and responsibility for the earth. This is deeply ingrained in NISQUA's work. They also stand with human rights leaders that are defending indigenous communal lands. The effects of international mining, hydroelectric dams, and agricultural mega projects are having a profound difference on those lands. In addition, anti-racist, anti-oppressive, and anti-homophobic skill building is an integral part of NISQUA's accompanier training. To learn more about this program, please stop by Fellowship Hall after the service. There's a table there and people who want to tell you more about NISQUA. There also is a really cool video running on a loop where you can watch slides about what this program entails. You can give to UUCA by writing a check. Put Share the Plate in the memo line. You can click on that little square in your order of service. You can go to the website and click Donate, or as always, we will take your dollar bills, your coins, your hard-earned cash. Will the ushers please take an offering?
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now, it is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change and life from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
As I said earlier, this is a congregation that gives. Will the ushers bring the offering forward, please? We give from the heart. We give with the head. We give with our hands working to change the world. Thank you, Jim. Please join me in the words to bless our offering. They're in your order of service. We bless and receive these gifts, opening our hearts to true generosity. Together, let us be grateful when we give, be it time, talent, or treasure. Let us be grateful for our needs and the experience of vulnerability. Let us be grateful for those who share their gifts to nurture this congregation. Amen. Thank you both.
Hello, everyone.
Good morning.
Good to see everybody. I am MJ Mary Jean Schmelzer Hoekstra, a member of the Social Justice Ministries team. In reflecting upon our theme today and what draws us to social justice work, I looked back upon my life for a clue. I landed at my earliest memory. I was 3. It was a magical time. It was just after World War II. My parents and I lived on my grandmother's farm, my grandmother's chicken farm in Michigan, and the world was perfect. My collie dog, Lassie, went everywhere with me and protected and played with me. I got to ride shotgun on the tractor with Willie, the hired man, who taught me to swear. That was it. There was no town, no traffic, no visitors, no children. Perfect. Then one day, the Eggman brought his daughter to the farm. I was thunderstruck. And I was angry. I had never seen another child. I did not know they existed, and I did not like it. I think the fertile soil for civic participation, it was rocky in this period. But then I got older, and I learned to read. I went to Sunday school, graduated from high school. Family moved to Texas. I moved out, got a job. By then, John Kennedy had delivered the "Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country." That speech had been given, and I was electrified. The civil rights movement was well underway. And the world, as I experienced it then and in that place, was deeply uncertain, scary, and threatening. I was bullied or ridiculed at work, after all. I was a Yankee. And I was socially isolated. It was tempting to feel sorry for myself, but it didn't feel reasonable at a time when other citizens, particularly Black citizens, were being murdered simply for trying to register to vote. So that was the early 60s. And it was in this period that I became a Unitarian Universalist. At first, everything was an intellectual question. Why UU? Why not Quakers? Why not Presbyterians or American Hindus? As I began to concentrate on personal growth, particularly on finding a path to live my values, I became more focused and active in traditional social justice work. And it is somewhere in here that I began to see that I could become a full human being by living my values. I could make a place where I could take the fear and the pain of the past and use them as keys for psychological liberation and freedom. By then, I could see social justice as a part of everything I do, and we do, when it springs from the well of wishes and actions to build a better world. Now, here at UUCA, in this place, we're in a place that affords us the possibility and the opportunities to grow our best selves together. Together in service, in learning, in love. Let's keep going. I am a liaison. You've heard the description, the SJMT as liaison with various groups. Okay. So I'm liaison to Arlington Food Assistance Center, Friends of Culpeper Garden, UU at UN, the Buckingham part of Alianzas, and the Homeless Bagged Meal Program. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I'm Jacomina de Recht, also a member of the Social Justice Ministry team. A few weeks ago, I stood here and told you about Reverend Joan Galbine characterizing me, if I were a Buddhist, as someone who would seek enlightenment through doing, through action. For me, social justice work is the embodiment of my UU values in the world. To work towards making that world a better place, I need to feel that I'm making a difference. Well, that's it in a nutshell, why I work in social justice. And like MJ, I grew up on a farm. My parents were very active in organizational life, and they instilled in us that we were expected to be doing the same. Noblesse oblige was the first French I learned from my great uncles. Now, they were involved in things like agricultural research or cooperative movements, charity or social change for the other economic classes was not part of it. From about 5th grade on, I thought it was really highly unfair that I had all kinds of opportunities that were not available to my classmates who were equally intelligent. And by age 15, I decided that I was going to work in the developing countries. Basically, I did that as a sociology, believing that social change was not just possible, but that it could be planned, engineered, and implemented as long as all the stakeholders could participate in decision-making. Turned out to be quite naive sometimes. But it is the red thread through my life, to create opportunities and to create empowerment. I can get excited looking at policies and budgets, which are the value-driven documents for those who hold systemic power. And then I love to get groups together to discuss how to create change. Doing that with many people at national level creates an impact way beyond my own energy and my own money. But I'm not very good at just sitting still and working through existing policies or organizations. I also like to create new ones. And I want to give you an example of a program here at UUCA that I consider social justice. To take the OWL program that our students get to enjoy out into the community, to the community centers with migrant teens here in Arlington, to me is social justice. And when I retired in 2007, I rolled right into the creation of Voice from the ground up. I love working with the issues that come up from listening sessions in the communities, the campaigns, and being part of their executive team. Similarly, inside UUCA, I've long searched for a way that social justice can be an integrated part of the strategic thinking and the governance of the church. The social justice ministry team is our best effort yet. Well, as you've heard, we're all liaisons to different groups, and I am the liaison, the contact person right now, if you want, for the NISQA. That's what you've just heard about, for the Share the Plate partner, the UUs for Justice in the Middle East, and for Voice. So talk to me afterwards.
This is hymn 402. You may remain seated for this. We'll sing it through twice. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we give.
Good morning. I'm Stephanie Thomas. I'm also a member of the Social Justice Ministry team, where I am a liaison to Alive and the Environmental Action Group. In writing down my thoughts today, I was having a little imposter syndrome. My notes scrolled, excuse me. Let me start over. Writing down my notes today, I was having a little imposter syndrome because there's so many people in this church who have done so much social justice work, so much more than I have, and for so long, for many, many decades, a lot of people. While most of the social justice work I've done has been in the past 10 years or so. And while I've always had a sense of justice, even growing up, it was always a little more abstract or distant. I did not grow up on a farm. I did grow up Catholic, and in our church, there was a lot of emphasis on caring for other people, and especially caring for the poor. That was an important part of our faith. As I got older, I was more likely to do things like go to marches, especially on women's rights issues or reproductive rights issues, which I think would have made the Catholics unhappy. What changed for me, what changed my approach to social justice work, were the murders of Trayvon Martin and Michael Brown. Those just hurt. They hurt my heart. It was hard for me to tolerate the injustice of people being murdered with impunity. So I started doing more social justice work because I just couldn't tolerate the idea, I couldn't stand the idea of mothers hearing that their sons had been killed and that there was going to be no justice for that. And so I felt I needed to contribute to setting things right. Really started mostly by educating myself and then getting into more social justice work. I had known that people of color, Black people in this country, were not treated fairly, but I didn't understand the extent of the issues. I didn't understand how disposable Black lives could be, and I didn't understand the school-to-prison pipeline, and I educated myself and learned a lot about those kinds of things. And as I did, what I've discovered is that it's all connected, that racism and ableism and sexism and homophobia and transphobia are all sort of different, but all essentially the same. The same mindsets that create racism and that support racism also lead to all of the other kinds of systemic discrimination. But the beauty to me of social justice work is that everything is connected there too. The opposite of a society where oppression and cruelty are allowed is one that recognizes how interconnected we all are and recognizes the worth of all people. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King said, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere," and I also believe that working for justice anywhere is working for justice everywhere. The kind of justice work that inspires me the most is the kind where the grace and dignity of the society we're envisioning are part of the work. I've seen so many people work with compassion and patience and thoughtfulness and love, and it has made me a little bit more patient and a little more inclined to grace. It's also made me feel more like part of a community. Throughout my life, I've often felt like an outsider, but I feel a lot less like that now. Part of that is just the benefit of doing good work with good people. But part of it is that doing social justice work has allowed me to glimpse what the world could look like if there was justice and care for all, and it's a really beautiful vision, and it's an inspiring and comforting vision. So that is really the alpha and omega of why I do social justice work. It involves both heartbreak and love to create what's beautiful.
Thanks, Jesse. When I first thought about this service, it was laid out as one of our typical Sunday services. It was sermon-centric. And my sermon title was going to be, "Love the Hell Out of This World." I shared that with a few colleagues, and they said, "You're talking to UUs, right?" I said, "Yes." They said, "The hell out of the world?" I said, "Oh, well, wait a minute. Maybe I need to think about that differently." And it took me back to when I got to speak at my daughter's wedding as the mother of the bride, because we wanted to be very equal. The father of the bride is not the only one who got to talk. I stood up, and what I said to my daughter and my soon-to-be son-in-law was, you're gonna have to love the hell out of each other to make this work. Because marriage is hard, it's complicated, it's filled with compromises and decisions, and you're just gonna run into things you never expected. To hold on to each other, to make it last, to make it beautiful, you're gonna have to love the hell out of each other every single day. So I think that's what I want to say to you all, is it's that kind of loving the hell out of, or maybe it's actually loving the hope into. We are in the middle of so many things that are challenging for us, whether we're worried about the planet, whether we're worried about the current political system. Perhaps what's keeping you awake is the isms, racism, classism, or the phobias, homophobia, transophobia. There are so many things going on that are causing us pain and anxiety that perhaps we need to remember how to love the hope into this world. We are the hope for the next generations. We are the ones we've been waiting for. I want to offer you all a few quotes. Margaret Mead, you've heard this one. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. From Terry Eagleton, genuine equality means not treating everyone the same, but attending equally to everyone's differing needs. That's worth repeating. Genuine equality is not treating everyone the same, but attending equally to everyone's differing needs. And lastly, from H. Jackson Brown Jr., remember, the happiest people in the world are not those that are getting more. The happiest people in the world are those that are giving more away. A friend of mine, Reverend Rosemary Bray McNatt, recently wrote something that I fell in love with. By no means we Unitarian Universalists are perfect. By no means. We fail as much as we succeed. And even when we've broken our vows 1,000 times, we return to the essential work of liberation and justice for all. We do the work best when we remember what church is and what it is not. Church is not a place to hide. It is not the place to get away from the world. It is not a place where we get to pretend that the lives we lead and our particular situations are not terribly complex. Instead, church is the place where we get to remember our lives are confusing, often hard, and sometimes depressing. This place, church, it's also the place where we stand with one another, where we look the world in the eye, where we attempt to see clearly and gather strength to face what we see, to face it with courage, to face it with compassion, and to face it with joy and hope. Those are the words of Rosemary Bray McNatt. Love the hope into the world. And keep remembering anything you can do to make the world a better place. I know this sounds like Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm, but anything you can do to make our world a better place is worthwhile. The future is indeed in your hands.
Our final hymn today is 170. It's not written there in your order of service, so I'm going to give you a time to find it. It's hymn 170. We're going to sing the first, the third, and the fifth verse. And here's a note. We have checked with Holly Near and the Holly Near's publisher, and we are changing the words of the 5th verse to "we are all in this together," instead of "we are gay and straight together." So if you could remember that, please, as we sing. Please rise in body or spirit. And we're singing hymn 170, "We Are a Gentle, Angry People." We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are all in this together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are all in this together, and we are singing, singing for our lives.
Please join me as we extinguish our chalice. The words are in your order of service. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light and warmth it represents. These we carry with us, bringing our sparks of love to the world.
As we close this service today, I want to thank the members of UUCA's Social Justice Ministry team who gave us their stories. Stephanie Thomas, Jacomina DeGree. Close? No? I practiced so hard, guys. And I'm just going to say MJ's first name, and MJ. And Kristen, thank you for being with us to light our chalice. I have a benediction for you all. Closing words for hard times. No matter how weak or how frightened we may feel, we each have gifts that can make a difference in the world. In this coming week, may you do at least one thing to support the broken, to welcome the stranger, to celebrate what is worthy, to do the work of justice and love every single day. May we leave this place today strong, connected, and knowing we are not on this journey alone. May it be so. Amen.